Welcome to this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Linda Sutton. She is an international performing artist, international inspirational speaker, instructor, and world dance expert. And we'll be talking about her book today. It takes two to tango, using the secrets of the dance to create a passionate partnership. Welcome to the show, Linda.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, AJ. It's a pleasure to be here, and all of the library visuals take me back to my childhood. So thank you.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show once again, Linda. This time on The Author's Voice with KJ. So we'll be talking about your book today. So we'll be talking about that. But before that, let's talk about how did you get to writing this book, your journey towards becoming an author, a dance person. They are so busy all the time, so much of work to do. You have been into television, 22 tango show with, and so many things, 2 to tango, if I read it, 22. So all those can keep anyone busy. How did this idea of a book came into your mind? I thought it was, people take their time to decide. I want to know that story for the audience, the story behind the story of the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think the journey to wanting to be a writer started much younger, as I was saying, that the library scenes take me back to my childhood because I was such a voracious reader as a child. I often dreamed that one day, one day wouldn't it be beautiful if I had my own books or if I was able to write my own books? Because I started out writing and painting before I became a dancer. So I think it was already ingrained within me. But in terms of this specific book and this specific idea, I believe that there are different modalities in which you teach a person to dance. And, people are either audio or visual or sentient. And so what I found is that I wanted to give my students, and especially my couples, something physical that they could take away. They, kind of were trying to take notes while also moving at the same time. And I wanted them to have a primer of our system so that they could sit with the ideas, meditate on them, take notes, think about them, discuss them. And then, kind of, as we say in our classes, the body follows mind, to set the mindset that they would need for the classes and the subsequent sessions.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Linda. Now let's understand and more about your book itself. Here it is. It takes two to tango. Tell us a bit. It's a lovely cover here. Help us understand your cover, the idea of your cover. Whose idea is it? Is it yours or is it somebody else's along with you who worked on it?
It was a collaboration and partnership with my graphic designer, and we really wanted to create a cover or choose a cover that reflected the mood. We are passionate about partnership. We are passionate about successful relationships, and we wanted to not only reflect the dance, but the fact that we are kind of advocates of partnership, of collaboration, of closeness, of intimacy, and great communication. So that was the kind of ideas and themes that we put behind creating the entire look and mood board for the book.
Absolutely. And now let's get inside the book. What is this book all about? The cover says it, the title says it, but I want to hear from you for the people. Is it about dance? It is much more beyond dance. Tell us a bit about it.
Absolutely. There's a word or phrase that we use throughout the book called the dance of relationship, because what we have found in our work that what is going on within the relationship shows up on the dance floor. And usually what's going on in the dance floor impacts or is a reflection of the relationship. So they're kind of are reflections of one another. So what I found in my work in working with couples is that within 3 songs or about a 10 or 10 minutes, I knew so much about what was going on in their relationship, and they would be so surprised when they would be in a dance class. And so I would use the skills that were in the dance to transform not only their dance, but all the dynamics in their relationship that I was showing up on, that was showing up on the floor. I got a reputation for that. So the goal of the book is kind of to reflect that process that we take them through. Yes, I am a dancer, so it's definitely much a reflection of the literal dance steps and practices and exercises that you do in the dance, but in the book we translate them into how that's parallel or a direct reflection of the dynamic that's going on in the relationship, so they can understand, oh, when I see that in the dance, what it's telling me or speaking to me through my body language is what's going on with me in my relationship, either within myself or in my dynamic with my partner.
Absolutely. So who is this book for, Linda? Is it for those people who are interested in tango, or is it for even those people who don't know much about tango, don't want to learn tango, but certainly want to have great relationship?
Absolutely. It's for both. For people that are not interested in dance, they find, and I don't recommend that, but because I think movement is a great way to kind of interact with your partner, both physically, intimately, touch is a way to connect, but it's a beautiful metaphor. So most people, even if they're just reading the book and they want to use that to transform their relationship, they get the ahas because they can imagine, oh, that's right. I've seen the tango, I've seen the dance. This makes perfect sense. And I can apply kind of the wisdom to how I engage and interact with my partner. But of course, it's definitely written for people who are interested in long-term relationships and want to have a fun way of interacting with their partner, engaging, maybe incorporated into their date nights or their private time with their partner, is definitely for that. Also, for singles who are interested in long-term relationships and they want a guide to prepare them. Like we said, body follows mind. So if people want to be in preparation and they might not have a regular practice partner, they can start kind of engaging with the materials.
Absolutely. So someone who is seeing this book cover right now, they will think, I think I should get this book, but I still want more details. What is inside the book? Can you give us some more, in terms of chapter wise or something that people will make their mind to get this book and not just learn about this from this episode and then forget about it? It's a good book. I certainly understand.
Absolutely. So what we do is literally in the book, we take them through the 22-step process that we literally take our dance couples through. So it goes step by step, what it takes to build the dance, from your stance to the embrace, to how you get in step in sync with one another, to how you proceed through the movements, the dynamic of leading and following, and the other steps finally to the close. I'll hone in, if you will, on the leading and following, because what we talk about is we talk about the rules of the roles, which is in part dance partnership, there's a leader and a follower. And we understand what that dynamic really means, that it's really about partnership, is about collaboration and permission. And it's about how the dynamic moves within the couple, what the leader is responsible for doing in the dance, what the follower is responsible for doing in the dance, what the rules of their role is, and how the importance of both parts to the whole. So those are the kinds of things that they can learn. That's probably one of the chapters that I think both partners really get a lot from, especially in places where leadership is often think of as a hierarchy as opposed to a team or partnership dynamics. They find that very transformational.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of an author, now this is a very different sort of a book. Though you know about tango, but writing about tango in a book form to get people interested and to learn about relationship can be a tough job. Share us a bit about the challenges that you had in terms of writing this book, and then obviously we'll talk about the publishing part.
Absolutely. This was the fun part, because I think the beauty of having the childhood experience with so many books is that I already had the ability to paint a picture with words. So people say that I speak with my body and I dance with my words. So painting a picture and an image to help people really visualize what's being said is something that I had already started honing as a child. So I was blessed in that I had that experience. And so you're right, when you're talking about physical movement, how do you translate that in a way that when people are reading it, it jumps off the page into their mind and on the movie screen of their life, if you will. And so that was that part. But I think the bigger challenge for me is distilling it into a book format for brand new people that have never done any dance. So my goal was to write it for people who had maybe never even stepped foot in a dance class, when normally many of my students have either come to a class or saw a YouTube video and tried some things. And so that was the biggest challenge, how to break it down to the lowest, as they say, common denominator for people who have never danced before. That was fun. It challenged me to really get back to my basics and fundamentals, which is important for us. And then getting non-dancers to read it and give feedback to say, oh, wow, like I've never danced, but I could totally see that in my mind when I was reading that chapter.
Right, right. So in terms of publishing,
Mm-hmm.
now publishing is something difficult. Even a lot of people, not only first time, several time authors, they also find it difficult, especially with options today. But then this industry is a very different one. Not everybody can grasp everything easily. How did you go about with the publishing part?
Through a partnership and lots of help. This was not my first time thinking about publishing, but like you said, the dynamic and the environment has changed so much with the advent of ebooks and audiobooks and digital libraries and digital on bookstores. So I enlisted the help of a publishing house that, works with both publishing and self-published authors to literally walk them through the process. They actually even walked me through my writing process to help me to kind of hone in on my ideas. It was a very intensive, they were intensive house, and the process was within months. So it was very intensive, from writing to publishing within months. So I have them to thank for their partnership and intensity in terms of helping me bring this book to the world.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, what do you want readers of your book to take away with them?
Two kind of core ideas. Number one, that relationships are a partnership. You are not only two people on the same team, and I think sometimes people often use that sports analogy, but sometimes that sports analogy can make people think competitive. And I think dance is a beautiful way of understanding your relationship as a partnership, because it's clear when you think of it that they're not competing with each other. They're not challenging each other and trying to win and have a winner and a loser. They really are working together to create something beautiful for themselves and for the world. And then the second thing is that we're in a lot of conversations now where we're talking about gender roles. And I think Tango is a great way to help people understand that roles, because the dance has roles, is much more fluid and dynamic than people often think. And dance helps people to get that and hone that skill within their relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely, Linda. So this is one book. Any other book in the pipeline? Anything else that you are doing? You want the world to know about, Linda?
Actually, I published my second book in July, called So You Think You Can't Dance. And it's for people, like you said, that have never danced before, and but they want to get over kind of the mind barriers before they get on the dance floor. And so it's sharing my story as well as the most common questions and concerns I get from brand new dancers before they come to a dance class or come to start training in dance. So there's the second one is also out there, and possibly some things coming very soon to a bookshelf near you.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy. This book and the other book that came out in July, and more things coming on to, near a bookshop near you, whoever, for everyone. So there is so much to learn about all this that you talk about through your book and the things that you do. Linda, a lot of people will be interested to know more about you, the way you do things, what you do, as well as your books that we just talked about, the book that came in July, and so many more. to come, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. They can go to my website, lindadsutton.com, or find me on social media, and we can always talk and be social there and connect there.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Ciao.